Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
Cube Monk, featuring the world's first smart cube. Track your goods with our advanced GPS system. Welcome to the future of moving and relocation at cubemonk.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by heirs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at heirs.com.
Insured Nomads provides protection and peace of mind with health insurance, travel insurance, group, or tailored insurance for the globally mobile. Visit us at insurednomads.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
This is Ed Cohen, and I'm in Southern California, and this is Global TV Network, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net. Our very special guests today are from Finland, and I'm really honored to welcome again Nanna, Hänninen, and Marie. So, Nanna, please say hi, and please do a better job introducing Marie than I just did.
So hi everybody, it's Nanna again, and it's a pleasure to be in your show, Ed, once more. I am a photographic artist originally, and then I have created this Nemo method, which is team coaching and facilitation method using photography and photographic art helping teams to understand each other, to create new ideas, or just to do some team building together, for example. And with me here is Mari Argillander from our company. She's member of the board and also a Nemo coach. Mari, could you say a few words about yourself besides Nemo and in Nemo, please?
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Nanna,
Thank you.
for inviting me. This is a pleasure. I'm a huge fan. Nemo as a method is more than just a startup company. It's a way to look life in general. I'm not an artistic person, even though I love arts and I love music, for instance. That's my passion. But Nanna introduced me to this method actually years ago through her art. Art is something that I think people get. I get that too. I can look at the picture and make my own perception out of it. How does it look? How does it feel? And how does it make me feel today?
So let me ask you about those 3 pictures right behind you on the wall.
Okay.
Like for instance, the man on my right, I guess your left. What does that represent to you?
Okay, these 3 pictures are from Brazil. I travel a lot since I do transnational education or global education as a full-time job at the University of Eastern Finland. And I travel quite a bit related to especially the education system in Finland, and we like to compare and do research about that all around the world. And these 3 pictures are from Brazil, and they keep showing me or reminding me that the art is present all the time. So I want to share on the other wall, you cannot see it at the moment, there is a world map. So I want to be in between the art and between the people all around the world. So
Great,
those
thank you.
3 are more or less to me different cultures, meaning of them, and also music, because they are the representative of the heavy music that I enjoy.
Good, thank you. So Nanna, tell us a little bit about your photo art and how it's grown into displays, museum works, and now a startup business. So if you could give us a brief lesson of this growth and development of the idea and your talent and how it's become this passion.
Okay, so I started as an artist over 20 years ago already, and I call myself as a conceptual artist. Especially in my early career, I was very minimalistic in my art and very conceptual. I still am conceptual, but I started over 20 years ago, and my career actually started in Berlin Art Fair with an image which is called Space Number 2, and it's a stack of paper, 500 pieces of white paper, which presented me a potentiality of our own thinking, or the horizon of our own thinking. And that was an artwork that actually spread around the world. It was sold from Berlin to New York to Stockholm and so on and so on. And that's how my career started. So I was really a shooting star as a young artist, and working as a professional artist, selling art, doing exhibitions, museum shows, and so on. And I was working as a professional artist maybe around 10 years. And then at some point I started to think, like, could we use art in another way than this also very beautiful way, but maybe a bit elitistic way of having expensive artworks in rich people's walls? Could we use the art or the meaning of art actually in another way than this museum and exhibition world and professional art world and so on? And I started to create this method, which wasn't called Nemo at that time. It didn't have a name, but I went to a startup incubator and started to kind of brainstorm with advisors, like, how could we bring art into corporate world, into organizations, in the work life? How could we help work life? And it was for me very important from the beginning that we help work life. It's not a health care or anything in that side, even though it's always a bit that also. But I wanted to kind of focus on corporate world and how to bring the benefits of art for everybody, in everybody's use. What you say, Mari? We have been having these brainstormings about the mission of Nemo, why we do this, and we wrote down quite nice stories a few years back about this, how we help, how we want to bring the art into everybody's world, and that everybody can use it and benefit out of it and experience it and learn about themselves more through art, looking at art, which is like a mirror reflection. It reflects your today's motions, today's thinking, today's experience. Every day is different. Do you have something to add, Mari, to that story?
Well, what happens when you look at the picture or an art or any kind of art piece, it makes your mind stop. And that's the most important thing, what happens when you're also taking the art in the consideration of the corporation use. So sometimes you need to make your mind stop for a minute and then breathe and then start something new. And that always happens when we use Nemo method. So when you look at the art piece, for instance, what Nanna you have on your back there, it make you stop and breathe for a second. And this is exactly what we need nowadays, even more.
Yeah, that's for sure. And not just us, but people everywhere. So let's take a look, Paul, if we could. So here we have an image of a woman's hands holding and going into a pocketbook, a purse. Nanna, describe what you see.
Well, this artwork is actually called Mother's Handbag. And it has an extra name, which is the importance of curiosity and mysteries in life. So this talks about generations, different generations. There is 3 generations actually present in this image for me, because it's my mother's handbag actually from the 60s. And it's actually my daughter who is holding the picture as a 10-year-old. And then it's me who's taking the photograph. And it talks about the information, the knowledge that we kind of carry from one generation to the next one. Not just information and knowledge, also emotions and habits, behavior. And some of these behaviors might be good ones, and some of the behaviors and habits are not so good ones. And it talks also about that, how should we or can we prevent those not so good habits to go from one generation to another. So it talks about generations and knowledge and curiosity, because this young girl or young woman now is looking at woman's back and thinking about the life that she's going to have as an adult. What kind of a life she will have. It will be totally different than my mother's when she was in the 1960s. It's a different future for her now in 2021 than 60 years ago.
So let me ask, what would be in that kind of a bag? I don't mean to pry because it's all secret, I know, but what kinds of what? It looks like it's not an everyday bag. It looks like it's an evening bag.
Yeah, well, that's the point here when we use art like this, is that we, for example, we can think about future or visioning our team's future. If we could, imagine that we are a team, you, Ed, Mari, and me, and we could imagine that what is there something in the future that we can't predict, or could there be a thing X that we don't know, and this thing X we take out of this bag, but we don't see it yet, but we might try to figure out what is it. And this is why we actually use art, and this is how I use this conceptual art. I don't know what's in that bag, and this girl doesn't know either. She's pulling it out and figuring out. So actually, I would throw this question back to you. What could you take out of this bag when you think, for example, about visioning your future?
I think I'd probably, if I were a woman, I would be looking for my keys, or I'd be looking for my wallet to buy something at the store.
Yeah, well, that's very practical, and that's fine too. You can see anything in this picture. It's there's no right or wrong answer. That's why also art and pictures are so good, because you know you can see that, and that's fine. You could even say I have no idea, and that's fine too. Of course, then we could start to think like, okay, what can you do with those keys? Are these keys to a door that actually exists, or are there keys to your mind or your heart? We don't know. How about Mari? What would you pull out of this bag or purse?
Something personal. For me, the purse is a very personal thing, and sharing it for me, it looks that you are taking something out of there and sharing something personal, maybe to the audience, maybe to friends, maybe to colleagues. I don't know what it is yet, but something personal. I want to share it with others.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's go to another slide, Paul, please. So in my view, at first I didn't know what it was, and then I thought, well, maybe it's laundry. No, but then, and then I noticed that, okay, it's crumpled paper. And Marie, what's on those pieces of paper?
Maybe I do my story first, and then Nanna can tell you what it actually is. But I've seen this picture a couple of times, but every time I see a different thing, because I'm a different person in each and every day. So today I see 3 different plans that didn't work out. So I have tried something with my team today, and oh, this didn't work. Let's try another one. Okay, I tried this. Oh, this didn't work either. And then by the end of the day, I have 3 good attempts to do something different, and they are not failures. They are trials and errors.
Yeah, and of course it's the old days before doing this, right?
Yeah, but I still do this. I am a very paper and pencil person, so I still do this. So this could be from my day, 3 different
Yeah,
trials and errors.
yeah. So Nanna, what is your view?
Well, the story behind this artwork is that the work is actually called Unsent Love Letters. So maybe these
Unsent love
unsent,
letters. Okay.
they weren't sent. These love letters weren't sent, never sent, and so it talks about trying. It talks about motivation, inspiration to do those letters. Um, it talks about that we actually, if we are alone and seeking for love, for example, or relationship, it comes from that we can't exist alone. So we need this communication and collaboration with people, and it's like a symbol of trying to reach out, trying not to be alone, trying and sending those letters, or sending one, like my husband says that one of the letters, which is not in this picture, was sent because we got married. So so I succeeded by reaching out. It's about reaching out for me, communication, other people. But it could be exactly what Mari said, that it's all these ideas that uh, we have crazy ideas and many, and sometimes they are worth nothing, but trying is nevertheless very important on the road, because you know we usually don't get these perfect ideas from start. We have to try, and trial and error. What
Let
would
me
you?
ask you about the display here.
Mhm.
At one time, did you have those papers in front of a black or a blue or a yellow screen? Or was it always white on white? And what does that mean?
Well, I think it was always on white. I didn't try other colors. Uh, it's white because white color has always intrigued me. When I was a very young artist before professional career, I photographed women who were divorced and they had their wedding dresses on, and wedding dress is white, and white has a very strong symbolic meaning in our society, and in other societies white has totally different symbolic meaning. So for us, it's the virginity, it's the potentiality, it's the something untouched, it's a possibility, and in some cultures it might mean death and ending, and so on. So white is important, interesting color itself, and because I'm minimalistic, it's white on white. I couldn't, use any other color here.
Well, it's very much in tune with the millennials. Everything is sort of white and plain colors and stark. So I get it. So, Mari, would you like to add to that wisdom?
No, it's always good to hear Nanna's stories. Even though I have been listening, I have been so honored to be listening these stories for a while. But every time when you open a little bit what you have done and what is your thoughts behind it, it's really, really interesting. It kind of opens my mind as well. Oh, wow, I didn't know that either. So thank you for sharing.
That's great. Good. Yeah, it's really interesting. And especially useful if we were in a business meeting and there are strangers or people who are not friends, and everybody's looking at the same thing and probably coming up with multiple answers. That's your history, isn't it? That's your experience.
That's the greatness in using art and photography, is that, there is usually never just one interpretation, but everyone sees it differently and everyone has a different history. And when we talk about love letters, that's not a corporate issue or a topic usually,
Right.
but we kind of bring this personal topic into the corporate situation in the team, and then kind of everybody can start to think their own life and bring something personal into the table, and that's very important in getting to know each other even better,
Excuse me.
and in getting to know how we think, because photographs and art also kind of describes and shows our thinking.
Okay. Paul, could we go to another one? Okay, Nanna, this is it's very interesting to me. I like that. Please describe what you see.
Well, this is called asymmetric exposures, and it's an art piece from, I think, 2007, when I was working in New York, in an artist residency. And there are layers of pictures. Actually, it's done with an analog Mamiya 7 mid-size camera, so it's not done with the Photoshop, and it's 5 different exposures in one image, in a way, and it's a skyscraper in New York. Actually, I can tell a story about this specific artwork. There was this leadership conference here in my hometown, and it was some kind of a celebration year. So the former prime minister of Sweden was invited, for example, to talk, and there were some other prominent people talking about globalization. And then we wanted to use Nemo as a discussion tool in their panel, and we gave them a bunch of images from where they could choose what describes the change in globalization and in our world in our global world and in our globalization. What could describe it the best? And all these three panelists, including the former Prime Minister of Sweden, chose this image, the same one, for describing the globalization and change in it. I don't know, what do you see? How do you see that if you think about globalization or global mindset, for example?
So what I see and is similar but not the same. In this case, could be people or country feelings or ideas layered and not blocking out, but just on top of each other, just layers and layers, and sort of looks like they're the same, but they're not. They're all very, very different with the shading and the exact positioning. And that's probably a good understanding of, well, people from Finland think this, and people from America think that, and people from England think that, and of course, all the variations within each of those categories. So it's complicated, and that could be a great thing to put in a lobby of Congress, I think, and and say, what do you see today?
Yeah. But it's positive. You see positive things, and I mean there are very many good and positive things in globalization, and you know, these different mindsets that we all have and the different cultures. So we kind of add on to each other, and we together can achieve something great. Of
Yeah.
course, it can be seen in another perspective as well. But I don't know, Mari, what do you see in this one? You work in a very global scenery.
Yeah, pretty much the same idea as what Ed just shared, but there is an unknown area in the middle, so no one really knows. And for me, there is a movement that everybody is moving to that direction, but it's uncertain, like still. So the middle part tricks me today. So what's there when there's nothing? No one knows, uncertainty or something like that.
Yeah, right. Boy, that's fascinating. Yeah. Okay, let's go to another image, Paul. Aha. So here we have what looks like an organized collection of white boxes, all very neat and covered, and you wonder, well, are they empty or what's inside? Marie, what do you think of that?
Well, I know the story behind, but for me today, these are organized secrets. So everybody have this kind of a storage where we have organized secrets. We want to keep some things away from each other, and then we carefully select when we want to open. I want to take this box and take a closer look at it. So for me today, this is secrets boxed nicely and storage away, because you don't have always time to take a look at them and go deep to emotions and so on. So today I'm well organized, and maybe some other day I will take a look.
So, Nanna, would you open the middle one or the one on the right first?
Which one would I open first?
Yeah.
I would take a box just in the middle, not the top one, but in the middle one. I would take that.
Yeah. Well, that's a real sense of adventure and discovery then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how would you use this? Would you use this image and words like we just exchanged about it? Would you use that in a corporate training situation?
I would definitely use this one in a corporate training session, because this talks about corporate world. It's a work which is called 12 boxes, and it's from serious potential objects and spaces and fear and security. I was working on these themes in the early 2000s, and it was about us filing and filing information. And at that time, it was old-fashioned filing. Of course, we still do, but now almost everything is digital. And the thing is, we don't really know what is in these boxes, and it intrigues us to, kind of look inside. And on the other hand, like Mari said, that if these would be secrets, organized secrets, which is a beautiful explanation, this one. So we could kind of think about also Nemo's value statement, which is being secure with the unknown. So kind of how to, how to how to be more secure without knowing all the time, how to be secure in this not knowing situation. And this we could talk in a team, like how everyone perceives this, this crisis or this nexus world where we are in, which is so complex that nobody understands anymore. Nobody knows what comes tomorrow, especially now the news are always new in a way. It's very unpredictable. So we could talk about this emotion of not knowing together in a
So
common.
let's imagine that we're in a corporate meeting, a global teleconference, sort of like what we have now. And there's people from Japan and Australia and India and Dubai and Brazil and Canada and the US. And a lot of people are strangers or just have very, very limited knowledge of the others, who they are and what they feel. And this is not a waste of time. This is a way to increase cross-border, cross-culture understanding of the people that are within the same corporation, the same company, and working to do better for the company, but do better for the customers, and that will help the company. So this could be a relaxation technique, perhaps. People aren't so concerned about making the sale or getting something accomplished. They have to sit and look at this and explain their ideas of what's in that box in the middle, the third one down from the top. And I can't wait to open it and understand what's in it. Now, could it be, Nanna, that we move the boxes around and we get to that third one down in the center and we open it and it's empty? Whoa. What do you think that could symbolize?
Well, that's a good question. It sure could be empty, and we could, for example, start to think that okay, the box is empty, and we as a team have to start to bring something into that box.
Yeah,
And
well,
then,
how would you fill it?
yeah, everyone would need to imagine how to fill that box and what would be important to put in that box, for example, when we talk about sales this week. So everyone thinks about something to bring in for sales into that box. We could do that, for example.
Marie?
Or we could use this picture to kind of measure the pulse of the team. So they could describe what they see or how they feel. I think the feeling is even more important because that will go beyond culture, beyond your work persona. So it's kind of opens your personality a little bit. So what do you see today? And these pictures are amazing because every day you see something different because I'm changing. So today I see this and tomorrow I will see different thing. So when we say that this opens a little bit up the discussion, it's not just a little bit, it's actually a huge, we go beyond culture, we go beyond the working life. We go to the person, like very personal level. And that is sometimes well needed before you actually start talking to business. So this is to settle people down and then get to the same ground.
Yeah. Paul Johnston, producer Paul, what do you think about these boxes?
I am intrigued to open the, believe it or not, the one on the right at the top. It's, and I hadn't thought of that, Ed, until you brought that up. I thought, oh my God, that's right. So I really am, and I can't do anything. It's on the screen, so I can't get to it.
So don't you want to come and just smash them away?
Yeah, that one is mine.
So
That's yours. Yeah,
so,
we all have our boxes.
yeah, I know. So Nanna, what would you think if I came along and just pushed them all away? What would that symbolize? Other than mental illness.
Yeah, it could symbolize that you know we are okay in a chaotic situation. Everything doesn't have to be in a in a mathematic order and perfect, but actually we can also live with a bit untidy world and messy world. And Ed today had this feeling that he had to crash our place, so he crashed them. But that's fine. Let's put them back together and let's think about why Ed feels uncomfortable with this mathematic order here. Of course, Ed, I think you would have to explain us why you want to break it. And then again, if you would do that, we would understand more about you. You might be afraid of this kind of this kind of structures. Maybe you need some craziness around you, otherwise you can't breathe. And we would know this about you today.
So we're talking about perhaps a departure from more staid or more rigid communications patterns, which is, I think, a good thing.
Yeah, we kind of learn more about each other and our emotions, our thinking, maybe something from our history, past, why we are, maybe you are a messy person in your workplace, and you might give an explanation. So next time I will not be so annoyed when you leave everything be, because I know your story. And that
Or I broke them up and I just walked away. I didn't help put them back together again for the next session.
Yeah. Well, then I could also bring it up like, hey, Ed, you broke everything last time. I don't like that. Can you please help me? And that, again, might help us to, communicate next time better when we have a real issue, because this is a play now.
Oh, that is a good point. That's the takeaway. So, Paul, if you can you show the picture of Nanna's hometown? Okay, Nanna. So what are we looking at here? And I'll tell you what I'm looking at, and then you tell me, okay? I'm looking at summertime, and I'm looking at a beautiful scene and peaceful. And so is this tourist season and there's a lot of noise and people on the dock waiting for the boat to arrive?
Mm-hmm. Well, I see my hometown. I of course feel very emotional right away because it's a beautiful town. It's on a lakeside, so practically we live on an island. And in old times, which this boat also represent, historical times, people came to our town by boat. It was almost easier to travel by boat than by roads because they weren't so bad. And on the other hand, I live behind that tower, which is called Tower of Puijo. I live just behind that, and that forest is actually a national park. So we have these lungs in the middle of our city, which which there is this huge old, forest that we can walk from our homes. Just in 2 minutes, I'm in that forest. So this is what I see in there. It's the island, basically an island that I'm living in.
Yeah. Marie, and where is your town?
Well, this is my hometown as well. Now I live 150 kilometers apart, but my family, my parents still live in Kuopio, and I really recall the picture. For me, it's home and very Finnish. The forest and the water, the lakes, very, very Finnish image. But still there is movement, which is wonderful. There are some activities on the water and very summery, very, very summer things going on. But I like it a lot. There is a movement towards me, which is good. I want to have people back in my life, not just these online Teams meetings. I want to have real people who are coming towards me.
Yeah, we should have a meeting on that boat next summer.
We should.
Good idea.
You are invited, Ed.
Oh, and producer
than
Paul
welcome.
also, yes.
Awesome.
Yes. And all of our customers, they should make a hotel reservation way in advance, because by next summer, not this summer, but next summer, everybody will be ready to travel for sure. Town square, I guess, and flowers everywhere. It's beautiful.
It's we say it's the center of the world in Kuopio. We are in a very special part of Finland because we have this very strong dialect, which is called Savo, and nobody understands when we speak that language in a way. And we also are quite humoristic people, not always, but we say that this is the center of the world, our marketplace, which is a really nice one. It's a working. It's functioning marketplace where people actually come and buy things. They buy flowers and bread, and there is a market hall beside, which is 100 years old, and people buy fish there, and meat and cheese, and that's our town hall, which is a beautiful old building.
Very nice. Okay, Paul, what's next? Well, this is a market.
Yeah, this is the market hall I was just mentioning. It's a beautiful old functioning market hall, and not every town in Finland has these, and not every town in Europe either has market halls, but ours is small, but it's working. So there you can actually buy some chocolate, and on the left side there is the fish market where I usually buy my fish and caviar if I want to have party.
Yeah, so it looks like summertime.
It's a summertime.
Yeah, okay. So what is Tori Kuja?
Mari, you want to tell?
Oh, this is the market alley. This is a very traditional small alley that you can go, I think also during the winter time nowadays, but especially in the summer times, where you can feel the old kind of a breeze from, I think, at least 100 years. There were very old buildings there, and the idea is to have a glimpse from the past.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
The wooden building, because the wooden construction is very important to Finland, and wooden houses. And
so this is just offshore where you live?
yes, it is. We go there and sail or go by boat. It's all these small islands around the town where we live. It is really beautiful in the summer.
And here's winter.
Yes, you might even see my old home there by the ski jumping things. I used to live just there. Not anymore, but yeah,
Okay, great.
Day here.
Yeah. So is that a big TV tower, broadcast tower?
Oh, also, but it's also a tourist tower, and there is a very good restaurant up
Ah,
there tower, and it's circling. So when you sit in there in that restaurant and eat very well, at the same time the tower goes, your chair is going around, and you can see the whole 360.
yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. And what's next? Okay. So that looks like early evening, and the lights of the city and the ski trail, I guess, or maybe that's just a street going through the forest there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a street going through this national park. The picture is
Yeah.
taken on that tower.
Yeah. So I see this is a very traditional area, very comfy.
Yeah, with these old boats, almost 100 years old boats
Wow.
that are
Yeah.
still functioning.
Well, they're built to last. Yeah.
Exactly, built to last.
Now, there's an old pro. Interesting. This is a sport, right? Log rolling.
I guess this is some kind of a show how people used to do that lumberjacking in the old
Yeah.
time. Um, of course,
And
they don't do it
yeah.
anymore.
And this is some local bakery, some bread, right?
It's kalakukko. Can you say that?
No.
Right, kalakukko.
Kalako?
Kalakukko.
Kalakoko.
Yes, very good.
Well done.
The fish inside bread.
Oh, wow. And what do you, I mean, how is that cooked? Well, I guess you carve out the center of the bread and put the fish in and then heat it up. Is that correct?
Can you, Mari, tell?
I can try. I'm not the best cook, but first you have the kind of dough, and then you roll it up, and then you put fish and the meat in the middle, and then you packed it and then put it into oven.
For how
So
long?
it's not bread in the very beginning, but after you have put it
Yeah.
into oven, then
How long do you cook it?
hour and a half, I would say at least, or even
Yeah.
a longer period of time, depending on the size.
Yeah.
It's a treat.
So this is a hotel? Is that correct?
Actually, I don't know what is it or where
I
is
think
it.
it's Koivumäen kartano.
Oh, yes, exactly. It's a manor house, which is a restaurant nowadays.
Uh-huh. Okay. And this is really fascinating stuff. So, Paul, thanks for showing the pictures. It's really added to the flavor here. So, ladies, thank you for being on Global TV Talk Show again. Marie, welcome back another time, please. And let's use some additional pictures and photos, and I'm going to let you pick them out. And what I do is I walk around and with the phone, I just shoot pictures, and usually of scenery, harbor, or the mountains, or people doing things, or sunsets. And of course, it could mean a lot of things to one person or one thing to a lot of people. So it's a fascinating topic about how people view things, and especially with the variety of people in the global talent marketplace that we have today, and apparently will continue to expand global talent in the workplaces, especially virtual, where people like us today can talk as if we're in the same place, and here we are around the world. So I think it's cool.
It makes us closer.
Yeah. So thank you. Nanna, what is your website? Should you just announce it now?
my website is www.neemomethod.com, NEEMO method.com.
Well,
So
great.
please go and visit and contact us anytime you like to know more about visual facilitation and art and corporations.
Great. Well, thank you, Marie. Nice to meet you, and please come back. This is Ed in California, and Marie and Nanna in Finland. This is cool.
This is cool.
Thank you. It was
Thank
very
you.
nice to meet you again. Thanks,
Yeah.
Marie.
I learned a lot about the white boxes and the crumpled paper, and we're going to learn more next time. So see you soon. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.